Hi INFJs, welcome back to my channel. So I didn't know that masking applied to me. I thought it was something that other people did, people who pretended to be someone else. You know, the fake people, and I can't stand fake people. They're my pet peeve. So that definitely wasn't me. I never pretended. I really thought that I was just a nice person, agreeable, accommodating, maybe a bit quiet in groups. But the truth is, I was masking all the ever loving time. I was like queen of masking when I discovered really what masking was. So today, I want to share 5 things that I personally struggle with that I never knew were tied to masking. And what's interesting about this, when I started unmasking, I saw just how many of my daily struggles, things that I struggled with my entire life and couldn't figure out why I couldn't stop wrestling with them, were tied to my masking. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Trina. I'm an INFJ and I'm also autistic. I help people like myself love who they are, understand who they are so they can embrace their beautiful weirdness. I do this through coaching classes and community and by sharing resources. So don't forget to check out this resource section in the description of this video. I hope you find my videos helpful. If you're returning, I'm glad you came back. I appreciate you all. If you haven't yet, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate the support. Your support helps me come back and do these crazy videos for you guys, and I love doing them. They're so much fun. All right. Before I jump into sharing my 5 struggles, I want to explain what masking actually is because I didn't fully understand what it was. Because it's not just pretending to be someone else like I thought. It flows much deeper, and it's something that is often, it is so common in the INFJ and neurodivergent world. We do it so often. Masking is what happens when our nervous system doesn't feel safe being fully seen. Now think about that. How often as an INFJ do you feel safe being seen? Not very many of us do. We really do not feel safe being seen. So we unconsciously start adapting. We just do. We don't even realize we're doing it. We just do it. We'll hold back emotions. We change how we speak to accommodate those around us. We mirror other people's energy. We downplay our needs. And it's not about being fake. It's a survival mechanism. And for INFJs, especially those of us who are neurodivergent or highly sensitive, we often start masking really, really young. So by adulthood, we don't even realize that we're doing it. It has become our normal, which is crazy. But it's still running in the background, and it shows up in some sneaky ways, like the struggles that I'm about to share with you. So the first struggle that I noticed was tied to my masking is I couldn't relax around people, even people I loved. I was always tensed up, shoulders. It was like I had no neck. My shoulders were always tense. My toes would even be like knotted up in my shoes or my socks in a ball because I was so tense. I just could not relax. I always felt on. If that makes sense, I felt on. Like I had to be careful how I came across, walking on eggshells everywhere I went. Talk about anxiety and tension. It was horrible. I'd rehearse for days in advance what I was going to say. If I knew I had to go to a function with people, even if it was family, for days, I would rehearse possible conversations I was going to have. I didn't even know if I was going to have these conversations. I didn't even know if that person was going to be there, but I would rehearse them. It was horrible. It was just horrible. So much tension going on. Even around family and close friends. It was very horrible. I chalked it up to being introverted, to being shy. Then I thought I had social anxiety, but no. It was so much deeper than that. It was this background pressure to be easy to be around, not to upset the vibe. I was careful not to rock the boat because I didn't want to be noticed. Being noticed wasn't safe. I realized I wasn't truly relaxed around anyone because I was constantly adjusting myself to feel safe, except I never ever really felt safe, so it actually didn't work, but I continued to do it. The result of this, as I got older, the tension snowballed. My anxiety got worse. I started avoiding people. Like, I did some serious isolating. I would always joke that I could go live on a mountain for years all by myself and I'd be completely fine. Wouldn't bother me at all. At work, I stayed quiet in meetings. Actually, my work life was really impacted by this because I would stay quiet in meetings, not because I didn't have like ideas to throw out on the table, but because I was terrified of saying the wrong thing. I was terrified of being judged. I was terrified of being laughed at. I didn't think that my ideas were worth sharing. Like, who do you think you are, Trina, to share an idea? Those were the thoughts that I had. It didn't save me. I still got labeled a non-team player. I got called incompetent because I didn't share. I can totally understand where they were coming from when I step back and look now because I was so quiet. But really, I was just trying to survive. That's all I was doing. And the worst part, I started believing I had nothing to offer. Remember I said that was what was going through? I had nothing to offer. My confidence disappeared. My self-worth tanked. I got stuck in this horrible loop of thought with the thoughts of nothing ever works out for me. I can't find good friends, can't find good relationships. I can't succeed. People like me just can't. That was a common thought. I didn't realize all of that started with not feeling safe to be myself. Crazy how those two things were linked. Struggle 2. I was hyper aware of people's reactions to everything I said. Now INFJs are hyper aware anyway, but this is like tenfold worse, right? Every time I had a conversation, I'd replay it in my head for hours, days. Sometimes it would be a conversation I had like 5 or 10 years ago, and I'd still replay it in my head randomly, and I'd get stuck on it for like a week. That person probably didn't even remember talking to me. It's crazy. I would think, did I say something wrong? Did I overshare? Should have I worded things different? Was I being too weird again? Did I forget to watch for social cues? And now they know that something's wrong with me. Totally beat myself up about that one all the time. I was constantly scanning people's tones, their expressions, pauses between their words, trying to decode if they were okay with me. And I thought that was just me being intuitive. That's what I thought it was. Or maybe sometimes I thought that was what social anxiety was, but it wasn't. It wasn't that at all. My nervous system didn't feel safe, so I tried to control every interaction by managing how I came across down to the smallest detail. So crazy. But the more I did it, the less I trusted myself. It wasn't intuition at all. It was fear wearing a mask. Struggle 3. I lost touch with what I actually wanted. This is a big, huge struggle that I tied to masking. And it actually made me really sad when I realized this happened. I used to think that I was just easygoing, like whatever works for you works for me. You know, when you're out with somebody, maybe a group of friends or whatever it may be, and they're like, where do you want to eat? Oh, I don't know, wherever you want to eat, we'll go and eat. Well, I hate to say it, I'm a little bit of a picky eater. So I definitely wouldn't have been okay, and I wasn't okay with a lot of places they picked because a lot of people like trying new things, but I'd be like, oh, it's okay. If it's good for you, it's good for me. Deep down inside, I was like dying because panicking, looking at the menu, because really, what am I going to eat? So I would freeze every time somebody asked me what I wanted because I wouldn't know. I didn't know that's what I was doing. I thought I was just being agreeable. I didn't know what I needed, what I wanted to eat, what I liked, what I wanted to do. I couldn't answer. I just went along with whatever they said. I did a workshop years ago. And in this workshop, I don't remember the main topic of the workshop, but in the workshop, there was an exercise where the lady asked us to make a list. I can't remember how many things were on the list. I think it was like 10 or 20. We'll say 10. 10 things that you love. So I had to make a list of 10 things that I loved. Me, Trina. Not my spouse, not my kids, not my parents, not my friends, not anybody else. What is it that you love to do? What I love to do, truly me. I couldn't do the list. I drew a blank. I didn't know what I loved to do. Everything I added to the list, I had to scratch it off because it was either what my boys liked or what Jay liked or what was expected of me. I would do it, but I didn't enjoy doing it. It took me well over a month to be able to add things to that list. It made me very sad. When I dug deeper into this after the workshop, I realized that everything I had been chasing in life wasn't even mine. Everything I wanted, my goals, everything wasn't mine. Half of them I could have cared less when I dug deep into it and actually admitted it. It was what I thought I was supposed to be, what people expected of me, what made me responsible or successful or selfless. That's what I was doing, resulting in living an unfulfilling life, very unfulfilling. I was constantly searching for the more, thinking there's got to be more. Constant. That was like a daily thought or a daily search that came up in my life at that time. But the truth is, I had no idea who I was underneath that mask. I had no clue. It was very sad. It took me so long to figure it out, but that's what long-term masking does. It doesn't just make you hide your needs. It convinces you that you don't have any. So crazy. Struggle 4 that I tied to masking. I thought I was bad at friendships, but really I was just completely exhausted. I kept thinking, and I beat myself up about this, oh, I don't really have any real good friends, or I can't maintain friendships. That was another big one. I would get some really nice people as friends, probably more acquaintances, and I couldn't maintain them because I would like disappear, right? I thought that I was just a horrible friend. But I wasn't really bad at friendships. I was just so drained already from masking that I didn't have anything else left to give. So if somebody would like want me to go out and do something with them or meet them for coffee or maybe go out for lunch, I couldn't do it because I was drained. For me, going to a busy restaurant with so much noise, that's a lot. That's a lot for me. So if I'm already drained, I can't do it. I isolate myself. I wouldn't socialize. I was just tired. Socializing isn't just tiring for me, it's depleting. So I would avoid this because I was worried that if friends would want me, I was worried. Sorry, I got my words all mixed up. I would avoid socializing completely and not even try to make friends because I was worried that they were going to ask me to go do something. And going back to the bad friend, I couldn't do it because I was just so exhausted. It was horrible. But it wasn't any of that. I was just exhausted, completely exhausted for showing up as a version of me that actually wasn't even me. Constantly keeping on that masquerade. It's very exhausting. So I isolated a lot and beat myself up about it. Struggle 5 that I tied to masking, my personal struggle that I tied to masking, that I didn't realize was tied to masking until I started to unmask, was I got overwhelmed by the smallest things. And I thought that something was drastically wrong. This is another one that for years I beat myself up about this struggle. I used to think that I was just really sensitive, weak, a sissy, maybe just so broken beyond repair. I'd wake up with the best of intentions in the day, but then one unexpected interruption or my day got really socially demanding or I got caught in overthinking of what to wear for the day and I'd start to spiral. It felt like everything was just too much and I began to shut down, which often wasn't helpful because that kept me stuck. So I would like cancel appointments. If I was meeting up with somebody for an opportunity, I would reschedule, and I would do this multiple times. I wouldn't just reschedule with them once or reschedule my appointment. I would do this 5 or 6 times because of what was going on. And when you do that, when you're meeting with somebody about an opportunity, they're not going to keep meeting with you or trying to meet with you. They're going to be like, hey, you know what? She's not interested. She's not serious. We're just not going to do this. That happened to me so many times. And then I would totally beat myself up about it. And I didn't understand why I was like this. I was so hard on myself because of this. But what I learned is when you've been masking for years, your nervous system is already maxed out. So I was already in burnout mode. We are not operating from a place of calm. We are just surviving when we're in that. Our baseline is already overwhelmed, and the tiniest thing can tip the scale. That's what was happening for me. It's not weakness. It's not laziness. It's not weirdness. It's not being a sissy. It's the cost of a nervous system that's been quietly carrying a mask for far too long. If you saw yourself in any of these, if you've been wondering why life still feels hard, even when you've done so much work on yourself, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Like I said, you're not broken beyond repair. That's what I used to think. You're just overloaded. I created my brand new workshop called Unmasking the INFJ for this exact reason, to help INFJs and neurodivergent INFJs understand how masking is still impacting our nervous system, our energy, our relationships, our sense of self, even when we think we've healed. We're not piling on coping mechanisms in this workshop. We're peeling back what's not yours to carry. If you want more information on this, the link is in the description. You can watch live or catch the replay. If any of this video hit close to home, I want you to know you're not weak, broken, you're not failing. You're not that person where nothing ever good happens to them if you get caught in that loop like I did. It's none of that. You're probably just masked up and maxed out. And honestly, you don't have to keep living this way. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you related to any of these struggles, or maybe you did until you lifted the mask. I'd like to know how many of the INFJs watching this already lifted their mask. It would be a great conversation to have. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like this video, feel free to share it. The more times it's shared, the more INFJs we get to help. And that's really what it's all about. And again, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. My next video I'm sharing is going to be 5 powerful mindset shifts that will change everything for an INFJ. These are my own little personal mindset shifts that I did that changed my life so much. So stay tuned. I'll see you real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.